Ain't believe me, these niggas died of me. Look what I'm becoming. What I did, it made a man of me. All the that I did, I swear my mother.
What it do, YouTube? It's Ty Fetty with the Fetty back at y'all another video, man. Y'all know why we here, to handle business, man. Before the video start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna say it again, bro. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna say it one more. Matter of fact, like, comment, subscribe. Before I gotta beat you up, y'all know what's going on. Look, the last California West Coast video I did, everybody was spamming, do Hunter's Point, do Hunter's Point, do Hunter's Point. I'm like, where's Hunter's Point at? Somebody replied San Francisco. So I looked it up. I'm like, all right, let me see which one sounded the most intriguing. This one caught my attention. So therefore, we about to do Hunter's Point, man. We got San Francisco's most dangerous hood, Hunter's Point. Let's see what they talking about.
Back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we head back to San Francisco, also known as the city. For those who are not from the Bay, the city is San Francisco, the town is Oakland, the rich is Richmond, and the V is Vallejo. But today, we head to a notorious part of San Francisco called Hunter's Point. Hunter's Point is one of those places that you just don't go to, no matter what. Most people from the city have never been to Hunter's Point, and most likely will never go either. It's tucked off in the bottom corner of San Francisco, pretty much cut off from the rest of the city. It's really its own world over there, and there is no reason to go. I don't care if the finest girl in the world asked me to go pick her up. If her address is Hunter's Point, I'm not going. Then again, I wouldn't go if her address was East Oakland either, and definitely not Stockton, but there's no baddies over there anyways, so that wouldn't be a problem. Anyways, Hunter's Point is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in California. Why is it so bad? Who's beefing with who? We will get into all that, but first, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Let's start off with the origins.
Let's get it.
Hunter's Point was originally formed because of the shipyards in the 1940s. That's when thousands of African Americans moved from Louisiana and Mississippi to come work. So many people came and housing was short, so the city decided to build temporary housing for the workers. And they built a whole lot of it. The hill of Hunter's Point was completely filled with housing by the 1950s. But then when the shipyards closed down, the residents were left unemployed. And that's when the city decided to turn it all into public housing. Residents were to pay 30% of their income in rent. Over the years, the neighborhood became the poorest in San Francisco. And today, the median income is $25,000 a year. That's in a city where the poverty line is $140,000 a year. Back in the 1970s, Hunter's Point was unified. It didn't matter what project you're from or what block. It was all just one Hunter's Point. Together, their rivals were the notorious Sunnydale Projects, which is the second largest public housing complex on the West Coast. The Hunter's Point versus Sunnydale rivalry was awful. In fact, it's one of the worst in American history. It was so bad that in 1971, San Francisco's homicide rate was 27.5 per 100,000. That's higher than Chicago, Oakland, and Atlanta. Things were crazy, but everything changed in the 1990s. That's when a local hip-hop group called RBL Posse began to blow up. They dropped top Billboard albums in 1992 and 1994. They were the hottest thing in the Bay Area, and they had the West Coast on notice. But then, jealousy and envy would take over. Let me introduce you to a man named Booby Stepney. He was the biggest boss in the Hunters Point streets when RBL Posse blew up. He was even on their album cover. Stepney was known to have made millions of dollars in the streets. For real. You can look it up. Despite his success, when RBL Posse became the biggest stars in the Bay Area, Stepney felt left out. He's quoted as saying RBL cut him out of the money and bailed on the hood when the royalty checks came in. He said they got some money and said they didn't want us around. He actually denied saying this in a recent DJ Vlad interview.
San Francisco Chronicle article in 2001 where you said they got some money and said they didn't want us around. They showed a lot of disrespect to me and my family.
No, I ain't never said nothing like that.
Oh, that wasn't you?
No, that wasn't me.
Well, I mean, that quote is attested to you. The way Stepney told it, RBL Posse dissed him by cutting him out of the money and bailing on the hood when the royalty checks started rolling in.
No, I never say no shit like that.
Look, man, it's the problem, bro. Look, they say you fake for leaving the hood and cutting people off when you get up, right? But the moment you come back to the hood and somebody do something to you, now your life gone, you dumb. Which one is it? Is it get away or come back? Like, Feel me? Like, it get to a point in time where you get to a certain level, bro, and you know certain people around you could mess that up. So therefore, before you ruin that opportunity that somebody then gave you, bro, you cut certain people off, bro. That's maturing. That's growing up. That's realizing that you got different friends for different things, bro. Everybody know that, bro. You got different friends that you could call for different things. Not even on no illegal shit, just regular stuff. Like, you might want to go to brunch. You go call this set of friends. You might want to go to the club. You going to call this set of friends. You might want to go to a music park. You going to call this set of friends. Feel me? Like, or you going to tell certain people about certain stuff, bro. It's just how I go, bro. So it's like, you got to pick your poison, bro, because they going to call you fake for not coming back to the hood showing love. And they going to call you a dummy for going back to the hood. And ain't no winning, bro.
I mean, I heard him say he didn't say that, which, you know, I don't know. You know, at the time, I thought he did say it, you know what I mean? But
there's always two sides to every story, but either way, Stepney would make RBL Posse his biggest rivals. Things would get crazy in Hunters Point. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
Look at that jig to it. Y'all know how y'all hit that jig? Let me stop playing with y'all,
Day,
man.
1996. RBL Posse is barbecuing in Hunters Point with their family and friends to celebrate the new year, but also to celebrate the new record deal that was just offered to them. In just 3 days, they were set to sign a $1.5 million deal with Atlantic Records.
Lit.
Filled with excitement, two of the members decide to head over to Oakland to attend a party, but RBL rapper Mr. C decides to stay back and enjoy the day with family. Well, that would be a bad decision because there is a man hiding behind the project building waiting for an opportunity. The man decides to creep around the building and runs right up to Mr. C. He gets up real close, looks him in his eyes, and bam!
Damn.
This moment here set off a rivalry that hasn't stopped for the past 25 years. It completely divided Hunters Point into different sections.
It kind of split the neighborhood in two.
yeah. Right, and that was the thing too. He said it didn't split into two. That was telling when he said, nah, it's split into one. And that let me know right there that they felt like they was already against us. It's time to move on.
Let me break it all down for you. Stepney represents a section called Harbor Road, also known as Big Block. RBL Posse, on the other hand, represent a section called West Point. And after the passing of Mr. C, these two projects became rivals, and from there, they gained their own alliances.
So is Hunters Point not like a hood itself? Like, not a hood, like, is it not the same projects? Like, is Hunters Point not, is more projects than one in Hunters Point? Is it not the same, like, complex, the same vicinity, bro? How is it two different, how you call this Big Block and the other, and it's right there. That's like the front of my neighborhood being Fetty Mafia and the back of my neighborhood being Thai Mafia. That don't make sense. So you got Thai Mafia versus Fetty Mafia. And then the same neighborhood, same complex, same streets. Okay.
Hunters Point really became split into two sections, Harbor Road and its allies versus West Point and their allies. West Point is allies with the Oakdale projects and the Sunnydale projects, while Harbor Road is allies with Osceola, Kirkwood, and the Double Rock projects. Things were crazy between West Point and Harbor Road. Between 1999 and 2002, there were 20 homicides just between the two projects. 2003 brought devastating news to Hunters Point. February 3rd, 2003, RBL Posse rapper Hitman would be in the West Point projects on a Sunday afternoon. That's when a car would pull up and bam! This loss would mean that two of the three RBL Posse rappers were gone, and at this point, Hunters Point had become an extremely dangerous place. The neighborhood bred some real savages, but none more than David Hill. April 10th, 2004, 1 a.m. David Hill is walking up Newhall Street in Hunters Point. That's when a police car rolls up behind him. Officer Espinoza flashes his light at him and says, "Hey, let me talk to you." David doesn't turn around and decides to keep walking. Espinoza yells, "Stop!" David keeps going up the hill, so Espinoza hops back in his car and pulls up right behind him. He hops out of the car, and that's when David Hill turns around and bam! David Hill walks all the way across Hunters Point and leaves his belongings behind the Oakdale projects. Mind you, this is a long walk all the way across the hill. After dropping his stuff off, he then walks all the way back across to West Point. He hops in his car and drives all the way across the Bay Area to the San Ramon Medical Center. He walks into the emergency room with plastic flowers in his hands and starts running around in circles. So then the hospital would call the police, who would then come and calm him down.
What the?
But then they would tie him to everything that had just happened. This event was a big deal in the Bay Area, and Isaac Espinosa's funeral was huge. This situation would change everything in Hunters Point,
What?
for better or for worse. You be the judge. SFPD would build cases against Harbor Road and West Point and try to take them down once and for all. They figured that they would start at the bottom and make their way all the way up to the top. Well, for Harbor Road, that strategy worked perfectly. Dozens of Harbor Road members would snitch on the boss. Stepney made sure to cover his tracks well, but so many people snitched on him that he ended up getting blamed for everything.
Damn.
He was sentenced to 21 years in 2005.
Okay, so 8 guys cooperated against you. How close were you to these 8?
Well, really, only was close to 2 of them that I really
Damn.
was close with and grew up with.
See, it's I tell y'all every time, bro.
Got what he deserved, kind of bringing in, like he was saying, like we started bouncing around and dealing with other dudes, and it's like them dudes recruited so many dudes around there from Bishop to Kirkwood, and that was one of the things that kind of fractured them too, bringing a lot of outside dudes in who didn't care about pointing that ET finger at them. You know what I mean? It was like, okay.
After these takedowns, everyone expected the community to get better, but that didn't happen. In fact, quite the opposite happened. The younger generation no longer had any sort of guidance, and they jumped off the porch really young. Don't believe me? Well, sadly, you'll have to believe me after hearing these stories. April 8th, 2005. It's Friday morning at Mission High School, and there's a new student, a 15-year-old freshman who had just transferred. Well, his name is Javon King, and he's walking down the hallway when a group of freshmen from Osceola confront him. They tell him that he better not go home tonight. Well, Javon is young and he doesn't think much of it, so the school day ends and he takes the Muni bus straight home.
What the?
Osceola
They
teens knew
on
exactly which bus stop he would get off
They on
at, so
straight
that's where they would wait
BS,
for
bro.
him. The bus approaches the stop and all the kids on the bus tell the driver to keep going. They beg him not to stop. The driver decides to stop anyways because he's doing his job, I guess. Well, Javon gets up and walks off the bus. As soon as he touches the concrete, bam! These
Damn,
kinds of
for
events
what?
became way too common in Hunters Point. There are hundreds of stories I can tell, but I can't keep you here all day. Well, maybe I can. The story of Antoinisha Morgan. This here is
Damn,
no laughing
here
matter.
we go.
Antoinisha Morgan is a 17-year-old senior at South San Francisco High School. She is an honor roll student awaiting college acceptances. She just happens to live in Hunters Point. Well, she decides to attend a talent show at Potrero Hill Rec Center with her friends. Her friends happen to be a group of guys from Hunters Point. At the talent show, her friends get into an argument with a group of teens from the Potrero Hill projects. The Potrero Hill teens felt disrespected, so for the next week, they would drive around Hunters Point looking for them. A week goes by and they are yet to find them. March 16th, 2007, Antoinisha Morgan would be sitting outside the Bayview Hunters Point Rec Center waiting for her mom to pick her up. Well, the Potrero Hill teens just happened to drive by at that
Man,
exact
that ain't
time.
law,
They
bruh.
would stop once they noticed her, roll down the window and yell, "You see how we do?" And before she can even say anything, bam!
That don't give you no credibility, no nothing, bro. You can't catch your Vic, so you go shoot the person that probably won't give you no type of fight, no type of resistance, nothing. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's like, you don't get no cool points for that, bro. I don't know, and like, that's the thing. People want to say, if you a rat, you're not allowed back in the hood, you're not allowed back around certain people. Like, you feel me? If you tell whatever, like, all right, bro, somebody do something like this, bro, it should be, bro, they should be the same treatment, bro. You shouldn't, like, what, bro? They come back and tell you they did this to, come on, bro. That don't even make no sense, bro. But people be having picks, bro. People don't want to, people pick and choose when they, feel me, when they want to apply a certain rule or a certain moral. Come on, bro, you got to stand on that shit all the way around, 360 degrees.
This is the sad reality of living in Hunters Point. Anything goes. There are no rules. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't know who over there is condoning these kinds of things, but it's ridiculous and sad. Before I get into the new Hunters Point, let me tell you one last story that might blow your mind. Or maybe it won't. But this story here caught me off guard for sure. August 23rd, 2008. A group of men from the Oakdale projects decide to hit the Nasser Market in Bernal Heights. Barefaced, they walk in the store and take everything. Well, one of the men named Larry Blay would get arrested.
My dog needs some chapstick or something. God damn, look like he just went back there, ate the butt. Lord.
The store owner, Tong Van Lee, is set to testify which men he recognized during the upcoming trial. That decision would be very brave, but it also makes me cringe. September 13th, 2008. It's closing time at the Nasser Market. The store owner, Tong Van Lee, is closing up after a long day. He hops in his car and starts heading home. What he doesn't know is that the Oakdale men are right behind him. They follow him all the way up to Marin County, to the quiet suburban city of Novato. Novato and Marin County rarely experience
That's far,
crime.
bro.
So Tong Van Lee pulls into his driveway and gets out of his car just like any other day. That's when Larry Blay's brother DeAndre hops out of his car and bam!
That's far, bro.
DeAndre Blay, Kevin Abram, and Otis Johnson would all get life. Well, now that you know how Hunters Point gets down, let's fast forward to the current times. Hunters Point is split in half and it's still as crazy as ever. Other than East and West Oakland, it's the next most active hood in the Bay Area. Let's break it all down. The Allies are basically the same as they used to be, so let's start out with the Harbor side, also known as Big Block. Representing Harbor, you have the rapper Prezi, who blew up with his hit song Do Better. You also have Llama Llama, and then for their
I thought we was about to let that slide. Llama. Imagine, bro. You come on the stage, and we got coming out. Llama. Bruh, Llama is crazy. That's the thing I just said in my last video. Video just dropped 3 hours ago. If y'all ain't see it, go see it, man. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Bro, if your man rap name suck, bro, tell that man his rap name suck, bro. Don't let him run around calling himself Llama. That's not even attractive to the females. Llama. Yeah, bro. Llama was just in my DM. Ugh. Come on, man. Do better,
Allies,
man.
you have Osceola, which is represented by Swervy. Then let's head to the rival side, West Point. Well, it doesn't really exist anymore. It was all torn down back in 2014 and turned into this. There are still some people in West Point
Gentrification,
left, but
bro.
not really. Their allies are the ones who really took over the rap scene. The Oakdale projects are represented by Drew Bees and Ice Money. Now look, I can't include everything that's happened, so I'm bound to leave most of it out. But I'll include the most important events. June 5th, 2016. Rapper Prezi is at the nightclub with his OG Terrence Webb. They're having a good time until a West Point man named Sean Ford approaches them. He whips out on them, and that's when Prezi and Terrence Webb whip out as well. Bam! Prezi would get arrested, but would end up beating the case. That's when he dropped Do Better and changed his life forever. Even though they scored, Harbor was still upset about the incident. So they would track down a West Point man named Jermaine Jackson while he's working construction.
Damn. I go ahead, business. Prezi's right hand, man.
July 28th, 2018. Damn. Michael Higginbotham's brother Matthew would be hanging out in Hunters Point. That's when a car pulls up and bam! For years, Harbor was the one handing out smoke. They took 10 times more than they lost. So anytime they take a loss, they do not take it lightly. So just the next day, they would get the drop from they would drive out to Antioch and find a 19-year-old named Anthony Singh. Bam! Prezi's OG Terrence Webb would go down for it. Even after scoring again, Harbor Road would not stop. Allegedly, of course. They took down a lot of people.
Oh, they was spinning like ballerinas, like real live, like
October 15th, 2018. West Point rapper Looney the Bully is waiting in line at Frisco Fried in Hunters Point. That's when a man spots him, runs into the restaurant, and bam!
Oh, they
now that's
scoring.
The Harbor and West Point situation. Let's now cover the Harbor and Oakdale rivalry. Oakdale rappers Ice and Drew Brees have dissed Harbor for years.
Drew Brees.
Oakdale and Sunnydale clicked up together against
What the
Harbor.
hell is up with
Together,
these rap
they call
names?
themselves H2K. Despite this, they would lose two key members, Dietrich Whiteley and Omar Williams, also known as SP. SP was Ice and Drew B's right-hand man. Then, to make things even crazier, H2K decided to click up with Case in Oakland. Yeah, remember those guys? That's why you see Bossland Chris shooting music videos in Sunnydale and Oakdale. Oddly enough, Sunnydale rapper Lil Kayla's boyfriend Elijah was Stubby, which are Case's rivals, and they took her boyfriend. So now everything is messy, and really all this clicking up is new to the Bay Area. H2K also associates with CML Lavish D's side of Sacramento as well. I think they need to leave all this clicking up stuff to LA. This stuff is weird, seriously.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. What's not the other one, not West Point. The other one, Big Block, is that what they called it? They upped the score. They upped the score. They ain't say they want to keep the score. They upped the score. They up on the scoreboard. It's like 100-1. God, I ain't no San Francisco. Like, when I hear San Francisco, you know what I think of, bro? I think of Full House, the show Full House. That's what I think of when I hear San Francisco. Or the 49ers. Of course, I know it get Anchi there. I just ain't think of it. Like, I just don't picture that. That's not what I picture when I hear San Francisco. I think of the Golden Gate Bridge, you feel me? Like, those big old hills with all the houses and the train that go up the hills and shit like that. Like, that's what I think of, bro. That's crazy, bro. They really was up in the score. Damn. But with that being said, man, it's Ty Fetty with the Fetty. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, bro. Stay smart, man. Stay dangerous. I'm going to catch y'all next time. I'm gone.